Hello and welcome to Conservative to America, America's number one teen conservative Republican news podcast. I am your host, Cole Holcomb. Today we are going to start off with talking about the United States House election. As yes, the presidential race has been decided, and yes, every state has declared their decision, and overwhelmingly Donald Trump took the Electoral College. Along with in the U.S. Senate, every seat being called, with Republicans holding a 53 to 47 majority. Two of the seats that the Democrats have are independent seats, but they caucus with the Democrats, guys like Bernie Sanders and Angus King. But in the United States House, the races are still undecided and uncalled. Like in Iowa's first district, where 50.1% of the vote to is for Republicans with Miller Meeks, and 49.9% of the vote is for the Democratic candidate Bonin. Miller Meeks has already declared victory in Iowa's first congressional district, but the AP, Fox News, no news outlet has called that race yet. Along with in Alaska, currently in Alaska, it could be a pickup for Republicans. Hopefully, they have ranked choice voting there. I still, it's hard to understand. I understand it slightly, but I still have some trouble in there. By the way, though, uh, Nick Bank, 48.5% of the vote, 98.8% of the expected vote is in and is tallied up to the incumbent Democrat, Pelatola, who has 46.3% of the vote. Now, if you remember how this Democrat got in there, everybody says, Alaska, how'd they get a Democrat? Well, the Republicans nominated someone like Sarah Palin, and she lost in 2022 because there were two Republicans who stole votes from Sarah Palin. Right now, Sarah Palin should probably be in the U.S. House from Alaska. And then in California's 13th congressional district, John Duarte, the incumbent with 86.5% of the vote in, is currently beating the Democratic candidate Adam Gray with 50.6% to 49.4%. That race is still uncalled by the AP. It's uncalled by Fox News, CNN, any of those uh, good reporting outlets for elections. I would not necessarily say good outlets, but good reporting outlets for elections. People that the top three that you'll go to: the AP, Fox, and CNN all across America. But either way, though, as it stands right now, 47 to 53 of the United States Senate, with the presidency, of course, 312 electoral votes for Donald Trump to 226, which is an electoral college landslide. And in the United States House, 212 Democratic seats to 218 Republican seats. You have to have 218 to have a majority. Still, I would not say that that is necessarily a good majority, nor should anyone say that it's necessarily a good majority, but it's a majority nonetheless. So, as Republicans, we should be excited for that. We hold all three houses of Congress. We still have yet to figure out by how much. There is one race that I forgot to say that is still uncalled. Whether I was talking about House races, the seat in Ohio currently it is in recount. It has 98. It has 99% of the vote, expected vote in, with the incumbent Marcy Kaptur with 48.1 to Derek Marin, the Republican, with 47.9. I believe that in the coming years, this seat will probably go Republican, but currently it is a Democratic seat. And that seat, of course, had to go into recount because uh, there was not enough votes to be Tressable win. Same thing with Iowa. That race in Iowa had to go to recount, even though the candidate there did declare victory. However, though, California and Alaska still have yet to have all the votes counted. It's crazy to think that it's still that right now. It's been over today is 2 weeks since election day, since Donald Trump won the election, and we still have yet to call the races in California, a race in California and a race in Alaska. Alaska, you can somewhat understand because, yes, it's a frontier there. A lot of those votes are hard to get there. It's the winter there already. The winter starts in October in Alaska. So you can understand some of that and why not all the vote is reporting. But in California, that's because the Democrats, like they always do, are trying to hold as many seats as they can, try to cheat, try to hold it into the wee hours of the morning it used to be, but now it's into the wee weeks of the month following election day, into those weeks following election day. And Democrats currently are trying to hold off counting the votes. Communist California, can we really trust they're going to count the votes legally? No, I don't trust them. I do believe that the Republican would end up taking that seat back. But personally, I don't trust them. I don't trust that the Democrats will count that election fairly, as they're not. If you have to wait this long, we're in the United States of America, we're living in a first world country. It should not take 2 weeks to count votes. The rest of the nation has every race called except for that race right there. And the other ones that have yet to be called are either in recount or you're literally living on the frontier in Alaska. But California, that race, California, has no reason to be uncalled. A week, I think, is too long. 3 or 4 days is too long. How can Florida get it done? Florida is the third most populated state in the nation behind Texas and California. And Florida gets all their votes counted and in by 10 o'clock after their polls close. Why can't a state like Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, California, all these other states get their polls in, get their votes in? It's because the Democrats don't want to make it easy. Because the longer you wait it out, the easier it is to cheat. That's how Democrats win elections. They cheat. Now, I'm not trying to be an election denier or go around saying that. We do have a democratic system. And as Americans, we must have faith in that system. But there is fishy things that are going on all across America in this democratic system that we have. But with all that being said, let's go to the U.S. Senate. With our slim majority in the House, we have a good majority in the Senate. So, as everyone knows, we have those two moderate senators from Alaska, Lisa Murkowski, whenever it comes to social issues, and Susan Collins from Maine, whenever it comes to social issues. Alaska, Lisa Murkowski has got to go. Ranked choice voting was put into place just to keep Lisa Murkowski in power. Everyone knows that. In Maine, I don't necessarily have a problem with Susan Collins because Susan Collins gives us an extra seat in the Senate and she votes with us 60-70% of the time. Just the 30% of the time that she decides not to vote with us are typically on social policies. And I tell you what, I'd much rather have a rhino than what I would have a donkey. So, with all that being said, in the Senate, even if those two vote against the Republicans, we still have a 51-49 vote, and we don't even have to cast a tie-breaking vote. And then if you have a Tom Tillis who casts a vote in the Senate, or what's the name of that senator from Utah? Not Mitt Romney, but the other one. I can't remember his name right now. But if one of those guys goes against it, you could uh, get JD Vance to cast a vote. So right now, I mean, it's going to be almost impossible for Democrats to get anything through the Senate or to really have an opposition in the Senate if it passes the House. Because in the House, we don't really have very many rhinos. And if we win these 3 seats, we'll be able to knock out that rhino in Nebraska's second congressional district and Nebraska's second congressional district. But outside of that, I mean, really, there's no rhinos in the House. The rhinos in the Senate, they're not going to be effective. Whenever it comes to the presidency, Donald Trump has got rid of the rhinos in this cabinet. There will be no rhinos. There is going to be only strong, trustable people that Donald Trump trusts will make this nation better, more secure, more safe to move the movement and make America great again. Do what he set out to do the first time, and now, this time, 8 years later, Donald Trump knows who to trust. I'll tell you what, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, every single uh, department like Monkey Island is extremely afraid that they're going to lose government funding. $20 million being spent on an island with monkeys on it. We spend millions seeing if rats can run on treadmills, spend hundreds of thousands seeing if dinosaurs could sing. I mean, literally, there are millions of dollars every year that are wasted. I'm not looking for it. I don't think that Elon Musk is going to go in there and cut $3 or $4 trillion out of the budget, but I do think that he might go in there. He might cut 50 billion out of the budget. Heck, I'd be happy if he just cut even 200 million out of the budget. Literally, America wastes the American tax dollar on everything. And I do know that saying that everybody goes with from that movie, Independence Day, where the dad in that movie was talking about it, and he said, "You don't really think it costs $50,000 for a toilet seat, do you?" Well, yeah, of course, there's going to be secret things that the government is spending money on, but not like that. Another thing, too, to talk about, the Pentagon got audited again today. There are still more audits under investigation. The Pentagon came back, I think it was $908 billion that was not shown, or 869 or something like that. Either way, though, hundreds of billions of dollars that just disappeared, just wasn't there. The facts are not adding up. Having, maybe it was millions, but either way, millions, a billion, all that money, if it's not in there, it's just not adding up. It doesn't work. You cannot have something like that. You cannot have something like that. Uh, where we, in this country, our tax dollars are getting wasted. Our money is getting wasted in programs that the Democrats are throwing our money at. And then the Pentagon returns with lost money in the budget. That should not happen. We live in a first world country where we should be able to add up the money and where it goes, but yet they cannot. But yet we return with debt, but yet we return with money that people just don't know where it's at. It's crazy that that's happening in the United States. In the time that we're living in, I mean, you cannot get away with stealing a candy bar from a store and the government won't figure out about it. They'll come and somebody will get you for it. And some buzzer doesn't go off. But yet you can get away with not knowing where $180 million is. It's crazy. This should not be happening in the nation that we're living in. This should not be happening in the times that we're living in. This should not ever happen in America. But back to talking about the House. Well, with all these races in the House, still, again, as I said, with our majority, the first thing that will be on Speaker Mike Johnson's platform is getting the MAGA agenda pushed through. Well, with our House, our slim majority, hopefully they'll go with it. I truly believe that they will. Along with, it'll pass through the Senate, as I said. And then Donald Trump, of course, will give the big approved stamp while it's on his desk. He'll slap that big approved on it. But with all that being said, the MAGA movement is beginning. A new day has sprung in America. A new day has begun. As Ronald Reagan said, it is morning again in America. Donald Trump is what Ronald Reagan was, as Joe Biden is what Jimmy Carter was. It's morning again in America. Thank you. We'll be back at 7 o'clock here on Conservative to America. And remember, live free or die. I'm your host, Cole Holcomb. Thanks. Signing off.